On January 24, 1961, a hydrogen bomb 260 times more powerful than Hiroshima began its countdown to detonation over North Carolina. Not launched by an enemy, not dropped by accident. It was American, and it was one switch away from going off. The government classified what happened next for over 50 years. This is the story they buried. The year was 1961. The Cold War was at its peak. The Soviet Union and the United States were locked in a nuclear standoff, each side pointing enough weapons at the other to end civilization several times over. And to make sure America could strike back if attacked first, the Air Force had a program called Cover All. Nuclear-armed B-52 bombers flew continuous loops, armed, loaded, ready. Every single day, bombers circled the Arctic and the Atlantic with live hydrogen bombs on board. It was a loaded gun pointed at the world, 24 hours a day. One of those bombers was about to fall out of the sky. It was midnight, January 23rd. A B-52G, based at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in Goldsboro, North Carolina, was refueling mid-air when the tanker crew spotted something wrong. The bomber had a fuel leak in its right wing. The refueling was aborted. Ground control told the crew to hold position and burn off fuel. But the leak was getting worse. 37,000 pounds of fuel gone in 3 minutes. They were told to return now. As the B-52 descended through 10,000 feet, the pilots lost all control. The plane went into a spin. The pilot ordered the crew to bail out. 5 men survived, 3 didn't. But the real catastrophe was still falling from the sky. Here's where the story goes from tragic to terrifying. The B-52 didn't just crash, it broke apart in mid-air. And when it did, it released its cargo. 2 Mark 39 thermonuclear bombs, each one 3.8 megatons. To put that in perspective, Hiroshima was 15 kilotons. Each of these bombs was 250 times more powerful. And they were now falling toward a small town in North Carolina. Both bombs hit the ground. But they didn't just hit, they armed. When the bombs separated from the aircraft, their firing sequences activated. Every safety mechanism that was supposed to prevent an accidental detonation failed. One by one, the safeties disarmed. The bombs thought they'd been dropped on purpose. Weapon number 1, the one with the parachute, deployed and landed gently. When engineers reached it, they discovered something that chilled them to the bone. Out of 4 safety switches, 3 had flipped to arm. The bomb had gone through its entire firing sequence. The only thing standing between North Carolina and a 3.8 megaton detonation was one single switch, a low voltage switch, one of the simplest components in the entire weapon, and it held, barely. Nuclear weapons engineers later wrote that it was credible to imagine conditions where that last switch could have failed. If it had, the blast would have killed an estimated 28,000 people instantly. Radiation would have spread across the East Coast. The course of world history rewritten. But here's what makes this story even more insane. That was just bomb number 1. Bomb number 2, no parachute. It hit the ground at 700 miles per hour. It buried itself 50 feet deep into a muddy field. Its firing sequence had also activated. The military spent weeks digging, trying to recover it. They never found the thermonuclear secondary stage, the part that makes a hydrogen bomb a hydrogen bomb. It's still there, under a North Carolina farm field. To this day. So what did the government do with this information? They buried it. For decades, the official story was that the bombs were never in danger of detonating. The Air Force maintained that the safeties worked as designed. But in 2013, declassified documents told a different story. A report from Sandia National Laboratories revealed what the engineers had known all along. The firing sequence had run nearly to completion. One switch. That's what stood between America and the worst nuclear disaster in history. The government knew, and they chose to hide it. For over 50 years, the people of North Carolina and the world never knew how close they came. If you're finding this story as insane as I am, a nuclear bomb, one switch from detonating on US soil, and the government covered it up, hit subscribe. Past Unlocked exists to bring you the stories they buried. We're just getting started. In 1983, Stanislav Petrov ignored a false alarm and saved the world. In 1961, a single mechanical switch did the same thing, and nobody was ever told. The difference? Petrov made a choice. That switch had no choice. It was luck. Pure, terrifying luck. The Goldsboro incident wasn't a failure of one safety system. It was a failure of every safety system except one. And the people who built that bomb, the people who authorized those flights, the people who covered up the truth, they walked away. No accountability, no public record, just a quiet reclassification and 50 years of silence. History is full of moments where the world almost ended. Most of them we'll never hear about, but this one, now you know. Follow for more history they never taught you.